morning, Church on the Hill. Here we are once again at the time of giving testimonies about those who give and have appreciated the ability to be able to give over the years. And this morning we have Tuyen who's come in behalf of both her and Luke, in that I have asked them if they would mind sharing with us. And although I know you haven't seen them in a while, there's a reason for that. Because if you don't already know, Luke has become pastor of a Vietnamese church in Auburndale, and Miss Tuyen and the two of them together are sharing in that church work each and every week. So we're happy for that, but we're sad that we miss them. But I've asked her to come this morning in behalf of both of them and share her testimony about what giving means to them.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with Pastor Jerry and share a testimony about giving that we've been doing through the years. So it's nice to see everyone and good to see you too.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
What stands out to you when you hear about someone asking you what does it mean to give from a Christian perspective? Because most people are not always understanding how do Christians give the way that they do, because most of unbelievers don't have a clue what that means.
Well, when we became Christian, the first thing that we noticed that the Bible said, give tithe. So it was a little shock. Why give? But study the words of God. It is true. You have to give because that's the law. In the Old Testament law that you give. And we read how Abraham and Jacob give. And then the New Testament time, Jesus tell you to give. It's so to us that giving tithe is something you have to do. It's a natural way. It's supposed to be that way. So after learning the Bible, and we know that God's pleased with that. So we take that. And if others don't think it's something that you do, which I did think at first, it was wrong, because any organization, a building, which you stay in there, you need to pay for it. You give in a house, you make a payment. But more than that, the Old Testament say that we support the priests, the Levites, the widows, the orphans. They depend on the Israelite doing all that. So now it is the responsibility. Then we have to do it. So we didn't have any question after that when we learned that God wanted us to do it, and we're happy to do it.
You said something in the beginning about you read in the Old Testament about tithing, and it was kind of a shock. And I think it is for most people when they read that and say, you're wanting me to do what? And so when we stand back, and of course we're looking at Malachi 3:10, it's the only place in the scriptures that God says, prove me, or test me, or trust me. And I think a lot of people miss that blessing because they just have come to the conclusion, I'm not sure I can trust God with this. Does he know my bills? Does he know what I'm trying to live on? And when you were challenged with that, what was able to help you to go beyond that line and saying, it's a shock, but we're going to try this?
Well, and the verse before that, if you don't do it, in Malachi 10, but verse 8, 9, I believe, you steal from God. Because everything you have, it come from him. We came here with nothing. Oh, we got to have anything. So what we have, then it was a miracle. We receive a lot from people from everything, like the love that the people accept us, and or no English, but we have a job. And I'm talking about from nothing and what we have now. So we receive a lot, and then we become Christian. We receive more the love that the Christian give us, come for us, and I mean that's more. So we just like that's a blessing.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the money that I have. That's a blessing. No, the love that people give it to us. That blessing, that more than what we give back.
Yeah.
So there was no question asked. Even Luke wasn't a Christian when I married him. But after we both learned together and became Christian, we never questioned like, no, you can't do that. Even at first, that we have a little different understanding because I go to church and he wasn't a Christian. But after we both agree and learn the words of God, then that's fine. We okay with that. And then another thing that happened, the first 5 years when we came, we start with 5 people as Christian, very new, very new. So we don't have a place together, but we go from house to house, only 5 people. So we study, we worship, and then later on after 5, during the 5 years, then we borrow, we ask church, American church, to have a room so that we can get together. By that time, we go up about 5 families. And then the time that we can have the room to get together, like in the afternoon, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it didn't work well. But we have a room from American church together to worship with 5 families for during 5 years. And after that, one of our first Vietnamese pastor suggested that we buy a church. And we only have 5 families, and we do just the minimum wage. Everybody do minimum wage, and I have children. He said there's no way. We okay with a little room and 3 o'clock in the afternoon every Sunday. But that pastor have a great faith. He have the faith that believe in God's provision. So he said, if we cannot make a payment that month, I'll take care of it. His great faith about God provide. So we don't just learn from the words of God, but we learn from our leader. He's showing his action louder than his teaching. So we would not let him do that. So we agreed to purchase the church that we have now. We made it. And but it starts with a person with great example about that. So I'm here now to say that God bless us. It made it different ways, not from financial, but from health. And our children grow up in here. We had no English, but the children in school, and they're fine. They're married. They have. So that I'm talking about that blessing that I want. But God give us more. We start with nothing, but we now have more in one house. We have 2 houses. So
God does bless.
So the promise of God, it proved that when you give, you don't lose, but you receive more. And I also learned that not just the money, but your talent, your gifts. If God give it to you, use it. I don't want to lose my gift. Just like I don't want God to tell me I'm a stealer. If you don't give, you steal from me. And it is true. So I don't want God to tell me that.
Yeah.
Or one day God said, you don't use the gift I give you, I'll take it away. And I don't want that either. So, whatever way you want to give, I think God always gives you more back.
I'm sure.
So I'm just so happy to do it. And it is a true blessing.
Well, Tuyen, we thank you so much for your testimony. I don't think we could have said it any better. I never thought about verses 8 and 9, but now that you brought it out, I appreciate that, because that puts a different dimension when you do come down to verse 10. So thank you in behalf of you and Luke and your giving spirit and all the years that I've known you, and I know that people have known you even longer. You've always had that spirit of giving.
Yeah.
So with this, we're grateful that once again, here's a great testimony about how someone gives and why.